Hello, I'm Bobby Ann Cole, Christian author, speaker, and creative writing teacher. The Bible Book of Ruth is one of my favourites, especially as my Hebrew name is also Ruth. I love this story because of its vivid characters. They really come to life. And this story is very topical for this time of year, since now is when the action takes place. The scroll of Ruth will be read in synagogues late into the night on the Feast of Shavuot, which is Pentecost. The book is called Ruth. But is it Ruth's story? What do you think? She is a Moabite, the devoted daughter-in-law of Naomi, who is a Jew. Naomi means sweetness. But since the death of her husband Elimelech, and then her two sons Mahlon and Chilion, whose names mean sickly and frailty, she has become bitter to the core. She sets out for her hometown of Bethlehem with her two Moabite daughters-in-law. On the way, she decides to send them home to their families. Is this a kindness, or a ducking of her duty towards them? Orpah, the widow of frailty, leaves. But Ruth won't leave Naomi. She makes a powerful declaration of allegiance to her mother-in-law and to the God of Israel. They continue on together in silence. Like the chorus of a Greek tragedy, the women of Bethlehem gather around Naomi, pseudo-commiserating with her. Can this be Naomi? She used to think she was all that. Look at her now. Naomi does not so much as introduce Ruth. The two widows find themselves strapped for cash. It is the height of shame for Naomi when Ruth goes out to glean around the edges of the barley fields. Enter landowner Boaz, whose name means strength. As a relative of Naomi's dead husband, he could save the whole situation. Despite setbacks, he will do this. The main difficulty is a closer relative, whom we know only as Peloni Almoni, the insult with which Boaz hails him, which means something like, "Hey there, Mr. Nobody." He is the black sheep of the family. It is a good thing that Boaz knows how to run circles around him. Boaz marries Ruth, yay! They produce baby Obed, who is everyone's hope for the future. The story finishes with a genealogy showing Obed's direct lineage down to the great King David. Matthew's Gospel will later take up the baton and bring us all the way on down to Jesus. So what do you say? Is Ruth Ruth's story? What about Boaz? He needed to father Obed and thus himself become a forefather of David and Jesus. Or is Naomi a stronger contender? Her character is the most transformed. She goes from grief to joy in Obed, from resenting Ruth to helping her and ultimately loving her. Or maybe this story actually belongs to a character we never meet because he is already dead when it opens. Since his two sons have died, Naomi's husband Elimelech has no descendants, no name in the land. Ruth chapter 1 opens by introducing Elimelech. We read that a man from Bethlehem in Judah went to live, for a while, in the country of Moab, together with his wife and two sons, because of a famine in Bethlehem, a town whose name means house of bread. Under the Jewish Levirate marriage rule, Ruth and Boaz's first child, little Obed, is his. could it be that the main point of Ruth's 4 chapters is Elimelech's restored inheritance? You decide. I would like to invite you to join me for a day-long workshop online. Together we'll examine the genre, story, characters, symbolism and biblical world of Ruth. You will have the opportunity to write and share your own piece of Midrashic writing, an age-old technique that sets out to put flesh on the Bible's bare bones. We will go deep into the story of Ruth and put ourselves right there, walking side by side with the characters, so that we can write about these people from 3,000 years ago as if we know them well. You'll find further information about writing Ruth and can sign up here at midrash.prayerfulpilgrims.com. I hope to see you. Meantime, look out for video number 2, Ruth, the setting.